So what is one principle that has helped your marriage the most? If you were to just narrow it down to one. I know you have 12.
I was going to say the one principle is the 12 principles. I think we told you earlier, probably the one that helped my marriage the most was when I finally communicated correctly and heard my wife. Because that whole story I told you, I don't know if I said it, but I finally realized how much pain she was in. You know, I was frustrated and I was mad because I hadn't gotten where I thought I'd be in life, but she was in all this pain.
Yeah.
So once I saw that and saw where she was, then I was like, I'm going to fix this thing.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because everyone talks about communication all the time, but it is an important principle.
It's super important.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me it was understanding your spouse, because I'm a blamer. I'm super good at it.
Well, congratulations.
I'm also super good at comparing myself. I'm very good at that one.
Yeah.
And always coming up short, right? But anyway, and so my tendency, and Blaine had an addiction, so he was the problem.
The bad guy.
Yes, you know.
You're the victim.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it was very easy
You were in
for
that
me
victim cycle.
Yes, it was very easy for me to fall into that, and for me to use some of the tools that we have in there, some of the books and some of the tools to better understand him. And you know, he mentioned the significance. That was one recent one. To say, you know, it's okay to be spontaneous. It's okay to want to have impact. It's okay to be in the temple focused on the floor plan, which super
I had to figure out where that door went to until my spatial mind.
Like in the chapel for a half an hour waiting, and I would think he was having this spiritual experience. Be like, so I think that the ceiling rooms are over, you know, whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh.
But you know who packs? You know who packs when we go on a trip?
Disappointed in you. Who?
I do. I'm spatially intelligent, so I can pack it perfectly. I organize the storage room in the garage, and because that's one of my gifts, which improves the marriage.
And I'm more thinking based. He's more emotion based, but it strengthens. There were just so many things I could mention that learning about him has helped me to value him and to see that I need him in ways that because I am this independence man. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
By myself. Just leave me alone. And I really do.
She's spunky.
There's so much I need, and I don't want to admit that I need him, but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're talking about this learning how each other. Is there a book? There's something that you...
There's several.
Oh, there's probably 6.
Okay.
But what we mentioned, one of them was Please Understand Me.
That's a super
critical one. And the Strength Finder was another one, but there's other ones that we... but yeah, just critically important because so often we're ticked off that they're wired that way. But why is their way they're wired better than the way we're wired?
Right.
It's
And
just
that's
different. And you can't
Yes.
change it, right? You can't change if you're an extrovert. You get jazzed when you're out. My son he doesn't have an introvert bone in his body. And I see him and he's in front of the crowd, and the bigger the crowd, I mean, he's the party, right? And the party follows him. And it's just like, I could never do that. But he adds a dynamic in our family that is awesome.
Yeah.
And we're more introverted, but that's just how it goes. And so you can't change that. But there's good and bad to both. And so you want to, and they both, when they're opposites like that, they help pull them up. They help make each other better.
Yeah, there's a handful of problems that happen in marriage. One of them is total and complete disorganization. One of them is totally misunderstanding each other. And one of them is bad behavior. You know, there are a few. And what we're talking about is bad behavior is bad behavior. You really need to address it. You know, you need to manage it. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about all the blaming and all the contention that goes on because you just haven't learned to accept who you've married.
Yeah.
And to see them for who they are and to know that what they bring to the table is valuable, that you were attracted to them for super valuable reasons that probably you weren't even aware of.
Yeah.
And when it's amazing how people blossom when they're valued. When you truly see what they are and you think, thank goodness you're spontaneous because my life would be so planned to the nth degree we'd never do anything fun. So, and they know, people know how you feel. Yeah. And they know, and when you're ticked off because you don't know them, it's not fair.
Yeah.
You told them, especially in the gospel, you went to the temple with them. You told them you wanted to live with them eternally. and now you don't like who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, those wounds go really deep.
Oh, because
They're not doing
you're rejecting
wrong.
them.
They're not in sin. They're just who they are.
And you're rejecting them, not
so damaging.
Not behavior. I mean, because you can't, like I said, you can't change if you're extroverted or you're introverted. I'm just that way.
Yeah.
And there's ways to solutions. There's ways to solve those problems,
Yeah.
because you always want to be at the family events. And the other person's like, do we have to go to another one? You know. So there's ways to solve it, but when you reject that, you reject them, and that's why it hurts so deeply.
Yeah.
I mean, addiction's one thing, right? That's not you.
That's bad
Right.
behavior.
Yeah,
That's bad behavior, right? But this thing is you. Is you.
Yeah.
So.
To be notified of our newest YouTube videos, be sure to click the subscribe button here. Head over to our new website for the latest gifts and promotions. For more videos like this one, click this playlist here.